I'm supposed to go, and you can tell me what to do.
Once you've got the characters down, it's time to start writing. And I was actually inspired to do this video because I get a lot of people emailing me with comic ideas. Some of them are really good and get made into comics, like Dream Theory 2, the Ham Slapping Trilogy, or Twin Skin. And some of them are not so good, and that's okay. And let me just say, I love when people send me ideas, even if I don't use them. It's great to get ideas, and I'm so flattered that you like my comic enough to pitch an idea to me. And please don't feel bad if I don't use your idea, because 90% of the ideas that I have myself don't make it into the comic. But there are some tips that I can give you to help you hone your comic writing abilities and your skills and increase the likelihood that I will use your idea. Now, I'm going to be speaking specifically to my style of comic drawing, which is usually strip-based, not following a specific narrative most of the time, and using a recurring set of characters. Each of my comics has two main sections, a setup and a punchline. The punchline is the most important part of the comic. A good punchline can actually be the difference between a hilarious strip and a family circus. I apologize if you like Family Circus, I just don't find it funny. It's cute. If you want to read cute comics, that's fine. Just don't put them in a section called the funny pages. On a side note, where I do respect Family Circus is in their consistency. It's really hard to pump out that amount of comics with that much consistency over such a long period of time. It's actually ridiculous. Good on you, Bill and Jeff Keane. It's also the most widely syndicated comic in the world, so I guess you can't argue with results. I guess. Anyway, the main issue that I have with most of the ideas that people send me, and most of the ideas I have myself, actually, is that it's all set up and no punchline. It's a funny premise that would probably make a really funny comic if I had a punchline. And I've actually found that when writing, if you can come up with the punchline first, that's a better idea, because I found it's easier to come up with a setup for a really good punchline than the other way around. That being said, I'm working on a comic strip right now that I have a punchline for, and I can't think of a good setup. But I'm hoping to post it as this week's comic, so we'll see if it made it up already. And I think it will, but we're still working on it. When I do get the setup, the payoff will be golden. To break it down, I'm going to use the Movember comic that I drew since we are nearing the end of November. The setup is, I'm growing a bad mustache. Sarah asks why, and I say that I'm growing it to raise money for prostate cancer research and awareness. The punchline is, Sarah thinks it's noble that I've given up sex in the name of prostate cancer. Boom. Joke. Now, normally I use a 3-panel format, which normally entails panel 1 and 2 are the setup, and panel 3 is the punchline. But if you can get the setup entirely in the first panel and the punchline in the second, then you can get an aftershock in the third panel like you would see in Be a Man, or more recently in Just Do It. Okay, so now you know how to create story and characters and even write a script for the most part, so it's time to start drawing. I draw all my comics on the Intuos 4 pen tablet, which retails for about $300 if I remember correctly. And I think they are actually on the Intuos 5 now, so you might not be able to get the 4. So if you're going to run out and buy one, ask for the Intuos 5. It is super helpful and not at all necessary. First, if the price point is too high for you, they have cheaper models, cheaper tablets available that they make, like the Bamboo, that you might want to invest in, and you can usually get a Bamboo for around $100. If the price tag is too low for you, you could go out and buy a Cintiq, which is a drawing tablet that has its own screen, and you draw directly on the screen, rather than me drawing here and looking up there to draw. That being said, the tablets are super helpful, like I said, and not at all necessary, like I said. I used to draw 2x2 completely on paper, and I would scan in the image and color it on a program on my computer. I'm now currently, with the Intuos 4 tablet, I'm using a program called GIMP, which is a free version of Photoshop to draw and color the comic and also put in the words. You could conceivably draw and color it on paper and then scan the whole thing. And you could do that because, like I've been implying earlier, there are no rules in webcomics, and that's what's great about comics. There's no rules. You could also skip the whole drawing with the pen thing altogether, whether it's on a tablet or on paper, and you could go straight to drawing it all directly on your computer using your mouse. Some really amazing comics are drawn this way, and they are also coincidentally the ones most pushing the genre platform barrier as well. Parenting illustrated with crappy pictures is one of the funniest blogs on the internet, in my opinion. It's a hilarious blog that is truthfully probably more blog than comic, but nonetheless, it incorporates a very comic feel in how it's written. And in doing so, it pushes the line between blog and comic. Homestuck, on the other hand, is an epic sequential masterpiece that blurs the lines between comic, video game, and flash animation. And did I mention it is entirely drawn on MS Paint? So now that you started drawing your comic, it's time to decide what format you want to publish the comic in. But not necessarily the whole comic, just the specific page or strip that you're working on currently. That's the beauty of the webcomic, is that it can take whatever form you want. I generally use a 3-panel format, but I've been known to use 4, 1, 6, or even go for a full page. Penny Arcade also usually uses a 3-panel, but often goes with a full page, and has even been known to do iPhone apps with animatics in them to tell side stories that don't actually take place in their mainstream running universe. I'm talking, of course, about the cardboard tube ceremony. Comics like Last Blood and Fallout Toyworks follow the traditional comic book format only on the internet, and Amazing Superpowers usually follows a 3 or 4 panel format while occasionally releasing animations. Amazing Superpowers also pushes the envelope in that each of their comics has a hidden caption and a hidden secret panel to their comic as well. The face and definition of comics has changed so drastically since the advent of the internet that it's currently an open book with new pages being written every day. You can choose whichever format you want and work within that, or that can change from day to day or from week to week. And while it may be impossible for a comic like Homestuck to be made into a book, it would be entirely possible for it to be released into an anthology of iPhone apps. I'm not sure what the technological limitations are to the Kobo or the Kindle, but I could see it working on those formats too. The only thing you really need to be aware of when choosing your format is whether or not your goal is to be syndicated. Obviously, newspapers are going to take issue with a comic that changes formats every week. However, the internet is also changing the face of newspapers, so it's entirely possible for the newspapers to adopt non-traditional comics and syndicate them on their websites for their web subscribers. So, get on it, newspapers. So you've got your premise, genre, and driving force, character, story, and format, and now all you need to do is distribute it. If you don't have the money or the know-how to design your own website, there are a ton of blogs like Blogspot where you can post your content there for free. If you do want to design your own page, there is a great layout in WordPress called webcomics that gives you a certain degree of freedom while also allowing you to have a pretty pro-looking page. Facebook is also a great place to distribute your work and to communicate with other people and to network with people. I would caution about posting full comics on Facebook, as they technically have distribution rights for whatever you post on the website for as long as it is posted there, regardless of what you hereby declare as a result of the Burner Convention in regards to the Facebook privacy policy. They still own it. Well, that is everything that I know about webcomics. I hope you have found this completely informative. Please go check out all of the URLs I posted throughout the video. They are all really upstanding, amazing works of art, amazing comics, amazing blogs. Go check them out. And also, please, if you draw webcomics or comics in any capacity, or blog about comics or whatever, post a link in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to check those out and maybe give you a shout out later on. And also, please like and subscribe. Subscribe.
You can tell me how I'm supposed to feel. You know me better.
Success.
Live right time.